Austin Cool here.
Charles Cool here.
Griffin here.
Thomas here.
Wade here.
Here tonight. Meeting minutes approval of February 1st, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections?
Cummings will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 1st, 2024.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool to approve the meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Citizen input, anybody have anything to speak about that's not on the agenda?
If it's on the agenda and we're just given 3 minutes, what's the difference if we say it now or later?
Because you have to wait till we get to the agenda to talk about it.
Okay,
So,
but we still get 3 minutes?
yes,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
well,
thank
okay.
you, Maureen. Meeting minutes summary since last council in your packet. Yes, water and light. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have said water and light first.
Yeah, okay.
I just thought you'd go
That was
in order.
weird.
My bad.
I was like, are we just
I'm like, water and light.
Pause there.
We'll pause.
Pause. Okay,
Thought.
Water and Light Commission dealt with the wastewater treatment plant as we have every month since we started construction. And that takes up a big portion of the meeting. We received an update from Ben along with the change orders, and the change orders have been very minimal, which is fantastic. Seeing they're, 30% completed already? Correct. So he was saying that he's very happy where we are, considering the percent that were completed on the wastewater treatment plant. We went over the preliminary financial results for 2023, discussed the Open Point software for tracking the asset managements of the utility along with the GIS. Discuss shoveling of hydrants. It is the utility's responsibility, everyone, to shovel the fire hydrants. Just so everybody knows, it was on Facebook where the street department was, they complained about the street department not doing it. We don't do it. The utility does. Generally within a day or two after, we appreciate anyone that has a fire hydrant in front of their house shoveling it, just, because there are many fire hydrants throughout the whole city. So it takes a while to complete that whole process. So if you have one in front of your house, it's for your safety, folks. Approved a generator for the lift station and discussed the water tower and on Square Street, passing that on to City Council. That's
All
it.
good, thank you very much. Parks Commission, Gabe is not here. Richard?
We went over the coordinator's report like normal, financial report, capital projects, that seems to be moving along okay. We had some expenditures that we weren't expecting, but we're working through those. Policy changes for the field rentals and an update to the fee schedule, which came back from Bill, or the city attorney. And updated some dates for the Easter egg hunt and stuff like that.
And we had more water coming back in, so
We
that's
did,
like a
but
drainage.
it sounded like a drain was plugged, so they were able to clear that, and they're hopeful that that
Yeah.
continues to.
So we have to
flow
somehow be
properly.
proactive so that that stops.
Yeah, I cleaned out the storm drain on the east side of the building. We didn't get any water in the basement this last draining thing last week.
Good.
And the,
Update next couple of days should
School just
rear its head if
approved
it's
the
gonna.
park to do the fee schedule and the agreement, just so you know. That was last night.
We have that on there. Okay, you wanna say that again? That's fine.
The school just
Okay.
approved the, park, the, agreement that you guys put together in the fee schedule, so, yeah, just so you know.
Great.
That was last night at the
Yeah.
school board.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Thank you for that input.
Mhm.
Appreciate that. All right,
Thanks for
Finance.
Yep, Tim, special finance department head reviews?
On the
First one.
12th, we did, reviewed the department heads, we did 3 reviews. Department heads on that specific night, we did another 2 tonight, we have 1 left to go. And tonight we had, like I said, the department head reviews. We went over the financial statements and discussed repairs to engine 68 at the fire department, and further discussed a grant that they're going to be applying for, and approved a review of the walk bridges off of Mill Street.
Cable meeting information is in your packet, I do believe. Yes. And finance, insurance, and personnel from earlier tonight, Tim. I think you just kind of went over it. We combined it.
Yep.
All right, not a problem. All right, consent agenda items, January reports. Those are in your packet for your review.
They're online. Oh, where are we? Right here.
Austin will make a motion to approve consent agenda items.
Griffin was second.
Austin, approval by Austin Cool, second by Griffin to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Recommendation of boards, committees, and commissions. So this is from the Water and Light. Do you want Tim to take it, or Barry, would you like to talk? Barry's
Let
raising his
Barry
hand.
talk
So
about
this is the discussion on the water tower from the utility.
Okay, a little of the back history of the water tower is in 1910 it was built. It was in use until, well, it was in use, and then around 1960s, it was decided that we didn't have enough capacity in it, so we built a reservoir, a 1 million gallon tank up on Indian Hills. Now that reservoir and the tower are both at the same height. They were both in use till about 2010, and we had an inspection done, and it was found out that where the roof and the walls meet, there was some rusting and pit holes going along around the roof, and they were concerned with bugs getting in there or birds or whatever. So we drained it. We kind of sat with the idea of maybe of building another water tower there higher, about another 40 feet. We did a water study on that. That said we needed about 750,000 gallon tank, less than what we have available to us now, because we don't have the big industry using it anymore. When we did that study about raising it up 40 feet, we found out that we would have too much pressure on our lower line areas. The idea was to eliminate the booster stations, but unfortunately there's too much gap between the high and low areas. So, long story short, the DNR says we can't use that water tower anymore unless we completely fix it up. Our board decided back then that it wasn't worth it because we don't need the capacity. So the other structural thing, little things with it was there's a ladder inside the hatch up on the roof. You go down in there, that ladder rusted off and is now laying on the bottom of that bowl. Doesn't really affect anything. It was normally underwater, but it's a structural thing that we would have had to get fixed. Our engineer talked to us about what we should do with it. It was determined that the best thing to do was at least get it disconnected from our main, because it's just a contamination source. Even though it's empty, it's still a path to our main. So we dug up in Square Street where there's a T there, we dug a 3-foot chunk out of there, capped the T. It's no longer connected to our water main.
And that was in 2007 or something, wasn't it?
What's that?
Like, what year did you say that one was?
That one was done last year.
The capping, oh, that was just last year. Okay,
Capping
thank
it
you.
off, being done with it. We kind of talked to the engineer, okay, now what do we do with this? Because the utility doesn't really have a line item for something we can't use. It's now considered either a billboard or an antique structure. I'm not sure how to classify it, but the utility's not in the business of taking care of that. We really didn't know how to go about deciding what to do with it, and our commission kind of thought that this should be a public decision, kick it to city council. City council tabled it on us because the mayor asked if we could get some quotes and then bring it back. She had some wanted to know what it was gonna cost, tear it down, keep it, whatever, get a structural study done. We did that, just to get a structural study done was $8,000, to tear it down was 50 to 75, Ben was guessing, our engineer. So I'm bringing it back now to give the city council to see if you wanna kick it to a committee, we're not really sure what you wanna do with that. Our utility didn't really have a good decision on how to make that, I guess, so we're fine doing anything, whatever city council would like to do. Talking at our board meeting, Tim kind of mentioned kicking it to like finance or kicking it to another department to see what the public interest would be with that. But since it's no longer on our main, I mean, we could certainly keep it, but I don't know where we'd even put the billing to. So that's just kind of the history of it. Nothing's been made, we're not asking for a decision tonight, we're just kind of giving you the background, I guess, on how we got here. You can kick it back, you can kick it to your committee, you
For
can.
you to keep it, Barry, just as an item that's on your, I guess it still needs to be insured, right? So that's really like the only expense to this now?
Yeah, and mowing it and taking care of it, but we can't charge it to mains, it's not part of our distribution system anymore.
Right.
So I don't know what the PSC would say, where do you stick that expense? It can't be used anymore. And we didn't want to just take it down.
You don't technically, you don't own it,
Correct.
Sorry.
but it's still under your jurisdiction because it was part of the water system.
Correct.
So
Yep.
Yes.
just because you severed the supply to it, still doesn't alleviate, it's still technically your responsibility, correct?
Madam Mayor.
Just a
and
second.
council, may I speak?
He's still speaking, Maureen. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure that I knew who was.
You still own it, we're part of you. We own it together, it doesn't make any difference, like if you take it down or what you do with it, I mean, whether it's our expense, your expense, it's still city expense. We just didn't know where to go forward with it. If you wanna wash your hands and it's a utility decision, we don't have a use for it anymore. But I don't wanna take it down and then the city council said, oh my God, you guys never gave us an opportunity to
Right.
weigh in on
Right.
it. So,
So how's the foundation or the bottom part of it? Is that all good or?
it seems to all be fine.
Okay. That's part of the inspection I said that I wanted.
There is an $8,000 inspection to get it done, but we don't wanna spend $8,000, kick it to the city, and they say tear it down anyhow.
Right.
That's a waste of $8,000. So our idea was to see what your thoughts were on
Okay.
it. You're the city council, you seven make the decision on what you'd like us to do with it. We're good doing anything with it, really. But like I said, if it's completely up to utility, it's probably the thought that we would take it down because we can't use it. And we're not gonna keep sticking money into something we can't use. Now, if this is a historical marker or historical building or, you know, and you think it needs to be kept, then that's something you guys, I guess, you have to decide you wanna keep it.
And I don't know how.
Does
we
the
would
maintenance for
classify
that, does the maintenance for that then go to your left then?
What?
To your left?
The maintenance goes there, right?
I don't know. It'll either go to parks, it'll go to the city.
No, not parks.
I mean, that's up to the city council to decide
Yeah.
where they wanna kick it to.
Okay.
It's at maybe quarter acre of mowing. We really don't have any maintenance on it. My guess is it'll last another 100 years standing, but at some point it'll have to be taken down.
So there's like a wall, do you maintain like?
There's a wall that feeds, that at some point, something will probably have to do something to, or maybe you just take the wall and leave grass bank up against it. It's just kind of to hold it out of the parking lot.
Yep.
I don't foresee that being anything.
Is the maintenance the only money that you're spending on it right now?
What's that?
Is it the only money that you're spending on it right now is the maintenance
Yeah,
aspect of it?
well, insurance.
Insurance, okay.
But I don't know how that falls or what it is, the value of it.
Right. And I don't think we've ever classified it as a historical marker. I mean, it's just been part of the utility, so I don't know what else would be, you know, needed in that. Does anybody else have any questions here before I open it up? Go ahead, Maureen.
Oh, thank you. I would like to add a little bit more from Superintendent Sorensen's comments, and I'll hand in a copy if I can make it up here. I have bad legs, so.
We're not getting any younger, Maureen, I get it. Thank you.
I think most of you know who I am. I'm with the Historical Society, and I would like to report some of our feelings. We talked about the agenda item listed at our last Historical Society meeting, and it was agreed that I would present some of our thoughts. In December 1897, Waterloo had the first sparks of electricity via the Rood family, R-O-O-D, who were involved in the mill and turned on electricity, and therefore we had the origin of the Water and Light Commission and utilities, municipal utilities. In 1910, as Superintendent Sorensen said, the first water tower was developed. Ron L. Giese, my husband, was contacted in 2008 by then Superintendent Gene Wyatt. And he wanted Ron to compile 100 years of utilities. I love this phrase, service you trust and people you know. He wanted Ron to go through all the secretary's minutes, documents, all associations with Wisconsin Power, etc., etc. All of this is documented very carefully by the various secretaries of the Utilities Commission. He did this with the understanding that there would be a reimbursement because it took a lot of time, but Superintendent Wyatt said yes, they would pay for it. This is it. I think some of you have seen it. If not, I'm sure the office has a copy of it, and it is excellent. On the cover is a shadow of the 1910 painted carousel water tower. It was mentioned in this book because documentation is very important in council business, historical business, and municipal utility business. It was mentioned in this book that in 1992, a fresh coat of paint was needed for the tank. And Margot and Gordy Cronin volunteered to possibly get Waterloo businesses that were really booming at that time to contribute money to paint carousel pictures of the horses on this tank. The superintendent and the commission agreed that would be great. And they had money left over from the carousel funding of the funding in the Waterloo Fireman's Park. So they went ahead and did it, and above all, which is so important in today's world, they contacted Trek, Farmers and Merchant State Bank, and Van Houten and Son and Perry Printing. All of those are still listed above there with the okay from the artist's interpretation of that signage. We call this on our website iconic water tower, which is very true to history. It has been on our website for 13 years. We have had over 2,000 hits on our site. Yesterday, I contacted our Facebook manager. We are all volunteers who works with Bill Jensen, whose wife wrote the Waterloo Farmers Park book. He helps clean up the pictures. They put them on. They put on, because I said it's on the agenda tonight, and from what I just read on the agenda, it was going to be discussed, and it looked like demolished or a structure, and I wasn't sure what structure meant, but I found out. And so today I looked, and we had over 100 hits, including Mr. Thomas, who looked at the pictures of that historic carousel painted. We are of strong feeling that it should remain where it is. I contacted Jane Haldeman, daughter of Gordy and Margot Cronin, and she couldn't be here tonight, but she said, as we all know, the Cronins worked very hard getting the carousel on board and getting all that painting done and staying within budget and so on and so forth. She said she couldn't be here, but she would be very sorry and upset if her family's contribution to our city was removed or destroyed or demolished. Gordy was treasurer of our council here for many years. He was an active fireman. He and his father-in-law, Art Setz, were so instrumental in creating Carousel, and former Mayor Crosby, our Carousel City slogan, and our Carousel seal. This is something that we should never forget. So I plead to all 7 of you alders who represent we the people to discuss further and try and keep this carousel and this water tower drawing where it is and the tower upright, because you 7, by your unanimous vote, tell us what we think is right, and hopefully it'll pass that we keep it. So I plead to you that we the people expect all to remember those who made Waterloo, who created the Waterloo utilities. And by the way, our OOD still communicates with us. I didn't know a Squire existed until I saw Squire Street. And lo and behold, a couple years ago, a Squire contacted me from California, and she was thrilled with what we have preserved at our museum, from Jim Hires, Skip Archie, Bill Knowles, etc. Not only me. And she also offered a 6-figure donation to us for all the work and material I sent her. So I plead with you that I hope you remember all that made Waterloo a thriving place to live, and hope the 1910 water tower will stand tall with its viewed carousel for all.
Thank you, Martha. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Go
I'm
ahead.
Lee Columbus. I just wanted to say that this is an iconic part of our city. It's, you know, you see it when you come in. I look from downtown and see that, and my grandson uses it to find his way home at night because he lives across the street. But all those kind of things, and I think it's very important that we keep it. And I know this isn't a meeting to destroy it or make a
It is,
decision.
correct.
But those are good things to have in town, and it's a big structure, it's high, and as long as it's not falling apart and gonna crash on Tim's house, I think we'll be all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead. Say your name, please.
Mary Schaefer.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah. I went on it as kind of a landmark for the city. And when Maureen told me about they were gonna discuss the water tower, I kinda thought about all the things that we have saved. And you wouldn't think for 1 minute that you would destroy or take down the entrance of the park that you fixed up. You wouldn't think one thought about that. You wouldn't think of taking away your carousel. You wouldn't think about redoing your pavilion or taking it down. There's a few other things like the pavilion. I read in an old book of Waterloo that I always told the kids. I said, do you know how they made that pavilion so that it was like an amphitheater? No. I said they got horses in, they got a scraper in, and they terraced that down. Terraced it from the top of the hill and down, and that's how you ended up with that amphitheater type on the east and the north side. And we wouldn't destroy that. They planted 500 to 600 trees around the 1900s or 1920s because they wanted that park to be beautiful. And some of those trees are still there. And we have a tendency to take an awful lot of trees down in this city. I've watched. We probably have taken over 100 trees down. Every time we build a new road, we take trees down. But we haven't planted. So there's so many things that we do have that we don't want to get rid of. Why would we want to get rid of the water tower? It's a landmark. The school children that I always would, we'd go down, we'd take a walk through the village or the city, and we'd look at all the dates on the buildings. And then little by little, I go back and I teach about 3 weeks of Waterloo history. And I remember when the water tower was lit up. It was a beautiful thing. The kids loved it, and the people loved it. So, and we don't have the depot. The depot went, and we should have it.
I agree.
So, think twice before we take things down. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much.
And if there is some monies that we have to raise, I would work on that. That we need for upkeep or whatever. And if it became if it becomes a problem safety-wise, there's a way that we could keep part of it or do something. But at this point, if it's not a safety problem,
That's what we'd like to find out too.
Yeah.
That's really the main thing, is
Yeah.
just to make sure that it isn't a safety
Thanks.
problem. Thank you for your input.
Yep.
All right, anybody else have anything? What's your pleasure with this? Have it inspected?
Is the utility willing to pay the cost to have it inspected?
I would like to see it sent to committee and decide whether they're gonna keep it or not. And if you're gonna keep it, we would inspect it. If that's determined that besides that, then the committee could let the utility know.
Do we need a committee, or do we just wanna take a vote now? You tell me what you wanna do.
It seems to me that the quality of the paint is such that if it can stand, I would vote to keep it in. And, you know, have it
We
inspected.
can at least do it's on the agenda, so we can certainly have a vote on it.
I don't think that I would be in favor of repainting it in 20 years or whatever that is, as it continues to decay. But I think having an inspection and
Okay,
potentially getting a life cycle out of it, just standing without weight in it, that
okay.
I would be in favor of that.
Somebody wanna make a
To
motion?
have, study done?
I can, but I'll wait for a little more discussion if anybody else has anything.
I agree with you.
Make a
I'm not for
motion.
getting rid of the water tower either.
I'll make that motion to, get the inspection done for the water towers. What?
Utilities. We have-
For the utility company to have the inspection done.
And
So
the
we wanna keep it.
the utility board would like you to know that you're gonna keep it so we can get the inspection.
We wanna keep it.
Correct, so
That's the
finish
intention.
your motion, and then we can.
So you're under the impression that we
Right.
would keep it,
Yep.
and then we'll get it inspected,
So
and if
we
something
wanna keep
happens,
it.
we'll make a
So
decision.
your motion is to keep
The
it,
water tower,
have a study done,
to see how the safety is on it.
so that we can make the decision going forward.
That's
from
the
that,
motion,
but
yep.
To keep it.
That's it.
I will second that motion.
So
Okay, so hang on, so we have a motion by Cummings, second by Thomas, to have the study done by the utilities with the intention of keeping it. Now discussion.
with the intention. I want
With
to
the
make sure
intention.
that the. that
Word
word was
intention,
in-
correct.
she
With
didn't
the
say that
intention of
word.
keeping
Oh, sorry,
Right.
with the intention.
With the intent,
With the intention of keeping it, yes.
and I would agree with that.
Okay,
Until the
so the
study-
motion,
until
we have a
the-
second. I'm just gonna do a roll call on this one, because there's money involved, even though it's not ours. Go ahead.
Cummings, yes.
Austin, yes.
Roscoe, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Wade, yes.
Hasley, yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, so then my next question
Sure.
was, that's with the intention the city's gonna keep it?
Yes,
Okay.
because if it's not a part of the utility, it really doesn't make
So
any sense.
I just need to know when I
Yeah.
talk to my
Right,
board and I
you-
get this through that,
You made your case valid, obviously, because it's not a PSC, it's not a water thing, it's really just a landmark at this point.
correct,
And if we don't wanna get rid of it, then we have to figure out how to keep it.
I will get it inspected.
It's not gonna be a park,
Okay.
just so you know. Chad really wants to mow it. All right, so,
Okay.
that is done. Thank you very much, thank you for your input, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, item number 2, contractor's application for payment. This is, I think, payment number 9 that we're up to. And I do believe the dollar value is $842,130.52.
Cummings will make that motion for that amount.
Austin, Cool, second.
There we go. Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool, to approve the contractor's payment. Roll call?
Cummings, yes.
Austin, Cool, yes.
Roscoe, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Wade, yes.
Hasley, yes.
Motion carried. Project tracking and funding allocations, I do believe that dollar amount is $868,356.77.
Cummings will make that motion of that amount.
Austin, Cool, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool, to approve the budget tracking amount that we need to call it the USDA amount. Roll call?
Cummings, yes.
Austin, Cool, yes.
Roscoe, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Wade, yes.
Hasley, yes.
Motion carried. And the monthly report and wonderful pictures are in your packet, and as they stated earlier, you're at 30% complete, which is good. All right, finance, insurance and personnel, January 23rd financial statements. Tim?
Thomas, make a motion to approve the January 2023 financial statements. Payroll in the amount of $94,388.45. General disbursements in the amount of $1,936,093.88. And the clerk treasurer's report, which is on file with City Hall.
I will second that motion with a slight amendment
Okay.
to January 2024.
Oh, good call. Sorry.
Correction.
gold star today. Motion by Thomas, second by
Yeah, but it's
Boyer.
cheaper, 93, 2 and 3.
To approve the financial statements as stated, as noted, 2024. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Roastel, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, yes.
Motion carried. Fire department spring quote, I'm not sure there's much to talk about, but I'll let you run with that quick.
We requested the fire department receive some additional quotes on the repair to the engine 68.
June
So this is
inspection.
tabled.
Yeah, so it's tabled until further notice.
Oh, man, I went down, I looked at it. I've been doing this for 50 years.
Yeah,
It's a stacked spring.
yeah,
There is no arch to it. They're gonna be flat. I looked at the ladder truck and the other engine, they're flat.
okay,
This truck doesn't need springs.
okay. Do you want
It's
to
only-
tell him that?
It's only got 20,000 miles on it. It doesn't need springs.
What does it need?
Nothing.
You don't know?
Needs to be driven. Used.
Well, I suggest you and Chad have a,
Jason.
I'll call you Jason today.
Now, if-
You know who you are.
You'll have an arch and a spring if you only got 2.
Yeah,
Because that's where the spring comes from. But this is a stack of springs. It's like 12 springs stacked up, and they're flat. There's no arch to them.
so that's good.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Well, you said there's an inspection
We
coming up
can,
in
we can
June.
discuss it afterwards.
Please do, because this is over my head. Good. All right, thank you for that, Ron. All right, so that is tabled until further notice. Library board, still going through, I am in updating some of our ordinances that didn't get done last year. It's nothing, we're not changing anything, it's actually putting, and Maureen, who just left, would have appreciated this, and I do want to read that book she had. Over the years, from when these ordinances were first handwritten, like it looks like a Declaration of Independence, it's pretty cool to read. You have to really tilt your head though. And people don't know how to read cursive these days anyway. But anyway, so over the years, words got taken out. And as it got to print format, even less got taken out. I get the whole handwriting, you get tired, you don't want to keep writing it. But once it got into print format, some very important things were just like eliminated. So we still have a few things in our ordinances that I'm putting back. Just like the oaths, the whole oath thing got completely removed, and I don't understand why. So the library board has seen this, the attorney has seen it, the one that's behind this coming up should be a park commission one as well. So all I'm doing is just putting some teeth back to it to preserve history that Maureen would really approve of. So that is all I'm doing, is just putting some words back into these things. And where is it? Why can't I find it? In the library in here? Should be,
Yeah.
it's right here. Oh, it's in the red, gotcha. Sorry, I got papers everywhere. So, if there are any questions, and Abby saw it too.
Okay. We just need an approval.
Yep, just need approval.
Colleen will make that motion for the ordinance 2024-08. Amending ordinance for the library board.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Poole, to approve the updated amendments to the ordinance 19-5 library board. Any questions?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Is 4 a
Let me see.
common, is number 4 a common thing to have in an ordinance?
Yes, because actually some of this stuff is in some ordinances and not in others. And this is a state statute.
Okay.
So that was just questions, like the utilities is gonna be coming up, and that originally said no compensation except for the secretary. And it's just, so it's evolved over time, so I'm just trying to make the ordinances be accurate, so that I'm leaving it better for the next mayor to come in to understand when they're appointing people, and people ask about it, that we don't have any control over some of this stuff.
It seemed like clarification.
That's all I was doing. Yep. Any other questions? But yes, that is common. So we have a motion by Cummings, second by Austin Poole to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Motion carried. Same thing with the parks, and we kind of went through this, I don't know, it was a year ago. Some changes were being done. There we go. See, I don't have all of that. I need to see yours, Lois. That's finance, let me see yours. There we go. Parks Commission, same thing. We changed years ago, the fire department trustees backed out, so that was taken out. And then the, trailhead implementation team doesn't exist anymore, so it's really kind of silly to keep that in there. So really, all we're doing on here is clarifying who the board representatives are, that the parks coordinator is the chair, his term is indefinite, so that'll match 85-7, I think, in our other ordinance. So really, that's all I did, is just updated it to say it's 3 citizens, 1 school board member, what Gabe's or the chair, parks coordinator position is, and the public works director is still an ex officiano, along with the youth board, WISO.
So ex officio members and advisors,
Mm-hmm.
how many show up?
Chad is always there. Well, once in a while, somebody from WISO shows up. Not always, sometimes it just depends what's going on.
Because it says
Yeah.
here shall attend meetings unless excused by the chair, so that would require them to be.
Get in contact with Gabe, yes. So Gabe is aware of, because the president changes at the WISO.
I'm just wondering if these
Okay.
members and advisors are spelled out so they know that they have obligations that are set in ordinance.
Yes, they do know that.
Okay.
I think Gabe knows pretty much every week who's
Right.
gonna be there, who's not. I communicate with them too, occasionally,
Right. Just depends what's going on, but yeah, these last few meetings with the school board and different things that were going on, it was well attended. Any other questions? Okay. On to the budget.
Charles School makes a motion to accept the ordinance changes outlined in 2024-07.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Charlie Cool, second by Cummings to approve the Parks Commission update to ordinance 2024-07. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Policy changes for park rentals, is that on here?
Yep.
Okay.
It's in the packet.
Okay.
The fee schedule isn't,
I
which
have no idea.
I was a little confused by, but
Here's a copy of it. Everybody have a copy of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That I got.
I have extras to that.
I have it. Yep, rental agreement. Do you want to run with that since Gabe isn't here?
sure, Chad and I can run through this. Basically, we added a few provisions and some penalties for people that rented the baseball diamonds and didn't make the required repairs after the game was played or the facility was used, just cleaned a lot of that up and spelled it out. This has been through the city attorney, and he approved it, it came back to Parks Board with no changes from Bill.
Okay.
Because it was there a couple times.
All right. And this is what you had commented on, that the school board did approve it. A lot of this came out because of that, and some different issues that we were having at the park, and so, yeah, this was a few months in the making. And you wouldn't have any questions? So this didn't need like a resolution for it, right?
I'm uncertain of that,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's why I wasn't sure either. If we just approve it, is it just a policy?
Policy.
I don't think a policy necessarily has a, yeah, the fee schedule we have to do a resolution on, where we change that. So this is just a policy update then?
That should come with the rest of them then.
Yep, yep, so this is just policy.
I will move to approve the City Waterloo seasonal park facility rental agreement.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Ware, second by Cummings to approve the policy agreement for the park rentals. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. All right, this time we will be in new business discussion of property for development. The city council may meet in closed session per Wisconsin statute 1985, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties. Well, hang on, I believe we will come back into open session, but there really isn't anything after that, so, all right, go ahead.
Charles Gould make a motion to go to closed session.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Charlie Cool, second by Cummings to go into closed session. Roll call. Cummings, yes.
Charles Gould, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, yes.
We are in closed session.
Okay, you wanna pass?
You can stay on. Yes.
Okay, you wanna take one of
Thank
each
you
of
all.
these and pass them down? I need these back when this is done.
Okay. Back to the ring.